Cassius, you're dead excited to explore a new avenue. So, you've been away for a little bit, contemplating and deciding where to go next after the intense revelations that you experienced because you couldn't let go of the past.
You know, some new things, but it's only, in the end, steal his resolve?
Yeah.
In some ways.
I mean, there was a lot to unpack and a lot to go through, but ultimately, what he experienced wasn't necessarily all bad. There was some good in there, and some people who went through London got forged in it and came out a bit stronger in some respects. Some people didn't. So, the question is, now that you're throwing your hat back into the ring, what are you doing?
Cassius has a plan.
I mean, Cassius always has a plan.
Cassius's new plan is to get in contact with an old friend and redouble his efforts to share the story of Gravestone and find a couple of different groups of people who might be able to help him with a new goal that he has.
Interesting.
Not a new goal for vampires, though. This has been around for hundreds of years. Cassius intends to protect the masquerade.
Interesting. Followed after his sire, maybe a little bit.
You gotta embrace the heritage you've been given sometimes.
Absolutely, you gotta respect where you come from.
Yep.
More on that later. Ominous foreshadowing there. So, where first?
Couple of stops. First, he goes to the lawyer's office, orders a bunch of prints.
Yes.
Then he goes to Carrion, send a message to a friend.
Of course.
And then he waits. And see which happens first. Because if the prints are ready, he's off to the book hall.
The carrion would happen first. It'll take I imagine like it'll take a little bit of time for the prints to be done. You've already kind of like organized them, and I know what they are. So let's have a charisma and performance with your bonus for story crafting.
Okay.
You do have a reroll if you would like.
Yeah, I think this is quite important to him, so I'm going to reroll 3 on that.
Just remember, you only have 1 for the session. That's how the Snackshots work. Ooh, 5. Nice. Unfortunately, didn't hit that second 10 that you were maybe hoping for, but it's worth a try. And 5 is very respectable. I think, well, one of the things in Vampire the Masquerade is like, Kindred very often do things that they're good at, so, you know, they have like 7 dice, 8 dice, you know, sometimes even higher, and you get used to being like, yes, I'm rolling lots of dice, so I get lots of successes, but even a couple of successes is quite good. depending on the
well,
situation.
Cassius has always been a bit of a jack of all trades, so he's used to getting reasonable results in most areas.
Yeah.
You know, nothing spectacular, but this is his craft.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the story you've written out is, you know what? This is actually really not my place to say. You know, you and Cassius, both of you, are the ones writing the story. Is it compelling? Is it something you can't put down? Seductive? You know, what type of feeling do you want to give this?
This is a story where there are, I don't know if anyone's experienced this, probably have, where there's little gaps in the narrative for people to fill in their own spaces, for people to make up what happens either behind the scenes or to a character that doesn't show back up.
Yeah.
They represent kind of in a very wide term different virtues of knowledge and in some cases death.
Yeah.
Where the one thing that always happens in story is that death is marked and recognized. And I guess one of the big questions that it asks the person who is reading it is, how do you feel about death, your own, other people's? And what are you going to do about it? Are you going to live your life? Are you going to find something more?
Yeah. Maybe a little bit of kind of trailing off mystery of, like, you know...
Yeah. How can one do
Where
that?
do you go next from
Where
this?
do you go next?
Yeah.
Cass has some ideas,
Okay.
but it is for the reader to discover on their own.
Okay. So, you have prepared this story, and it is being printed up.
Mm-hmm.
You have headed off to Carrion, and yeah, you will be met by Kafka. He is there in the.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, the memory thing probably still is in effect.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to decide what bullshit name I should give them. But the thing is, I need to send a message to someone and they need to know my name. So
Well, one of the ways kind of around it would be just to be like messenger from Memoria.
oh yeah.
Just,
Remember, Memoria needs to meet with Clay Fraser.
and you hand the message off. I'm assuming that you don't want to. I mean, if you'd like to kind of talk to.
Well, Kafka. The only question he has for Kafka is, how is Mouse?
Snug as a bug in a rug. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
And we haven't forgot our debts. We'll be waiting for your call.
Not to worry. It'll happen some point. Thank you. And he leaves.
And Kafka forgets the conversation. He's probably aware that a messenger from Memoria turned up, but the finer details of what you talked about is kind of... They're still trying to figure it out, so he'll probably notice in a day or two when he's like going over what's happened in the past few days, compiling information, etc. And he's like, why is there a fuzzy gap in my memory? What happened then? So
Not again.
yeah. I cannot tell you how much it's frustrating the Nosferatu currently, because they keep noticing when they're looking into stuff that sometimes there's like a gap, or there's, you know, some kind of like some piece of information they can't get. The more they find out that they're missing something, the more they want it, and the more they can't find it. It's so unfortunate for Nosferatu to have that kind of situation, but
yes,
there was a necessity for it. So, head back to the office. P. Williker is there, with a... how many do you want? Do you want a good, like, 40, 50? Are we going up to, like, 100 or so? Because the more you get, like, you'll have to maybe put in a duffel bag or something to transport it.
He's gonna take 50. I think he's not overly optimistic about this reaching too many people at the moment.
Yeah.
Seeing as it's the first draft.
Yeah, and the book hole tends to be a bit more...
It's niche. He'll get it printed and sent to a Waterstones at some point.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they'll be clamoring for it. So, to the book hole.
Yep.
While you were at Carrion, you could have sent an additional message just notifying a wander through territory.
Clay needs to know that I'm going to be there. So, annoyingly.
Hopefully, after the meeting soon, everything will either be resolved
or even worse,
a massive war. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
Cass hasn't forgotten about that.
No one has. So as you're walking down the main street towards the maze, you see like this flyer for the Rousing Speechery. New show being put on. It's like maybe like a week after the meeting, so a couple of days and then about a week from then. It's advertising a new play. I'm not sure what you called the play.
It's probably
Fresh from the Grave.
I was thinking something slightly grosser than that, like Wolf Corpse.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that having an appeal to people, you know, like, sounds a little bit out there, a little bit different.
Sounds edgy.
And, you know, the Rousing Speechery is all about the, like, fringe audience, basically, so.
Yep.
It does make a lot of sense. Although I liked Fresh from the Grave. But yes, so that's starting up soon. The final draft of the play is still being worked on, so after the meeting, if you want, you can head in, like, you know, talk to John Barker, the owner of the place, and maybe make some adjustments to it, or see what he's done with it, so, yeah. But for now, to the book hole we go. Through some alleyways, honestly, one of the interesting things about the maze is, like, it's actually not that dangerous at night compared to the rest of the city, because people going into the maze sometimes get lost. If they've got, like, you know, they're like, oh, let's hide in an alleyway and, you know, wait for someone to come past. If you pick the wrong alleyway, no one comes through the entire night because people are like, wait, is it a left and then a right and then an up and a down? Can't remember. So you get to the book hole. It's got its lights on out the front, and on the inside the door's open, as always.
Cool. No, he goes straight in with his stack of paper.
You are clocked immediately by the ever-watchful Gladys, who flutters over. Never seen Gladys really flutter before, but like the third time you've been here. Fourth, maybe.
Wow.
Cassius, are you here for more language lessons and books?
No, I would genuinely love to, but there is Something I think I mentioned before that I really need help with. It's
the Gothic. Did you go to see that young man I was talking about?
I don't. I think he might be on holiday right now.
Oh, okay.
So I can't seem to
that's a
find
shame.
him. But no, it was something else. This
Okay.
funk. These copies are of a book I wrote, and I was wondering if you and the book club would like to take a look at it. And I
yes.
love some feedback.
Oh, of course. And she like reaches out to take one and just flips it open, gives it a cursory reading. So this is very interesting. And roll me a charisma persuasion. You may add a dice for sexiness, even though you don't have your sexy suit on.
He has all.
Yes, and if you could add your aura as well. That's a crit. Well, actually, we were going to meet in a few days, and I mean, obviously we can't talk about this at then, but I can set it as the next book the next thing we're going to read.
That would be amazing.
And maybe you could come in and talk to everyone about it.
Yeah. Shall I do a reading?
Oh, yes. I'd love to hear you. We'd love to hear you read.
That's good to hear. Okay, I'll do that then.
Okay.
You've bent my arm. Sure. So how are you? Are you
Oh, just working on my book and looking after this place. That's okay.
Is everything going well? Not had any weird disturbances? There's a lot of... I don't know, I feel like the city's been quite busy recently.
Oh, well, it's never busy in here, so we don't see the same kind of activity as everywhere else. But, there's been a few new faces, a few people coming in looking for rare and obscure texts and those type of things. A couple of people looking for translate this, or can you look into this language? All that type of thing.
Oh wow. I had a thought. I have some property that I think would be perfect for a bookshop, and I don't know how attached you are to the maze. It is really nice around here.
Well, but it's out of the way here, and it's cheap because of that.
Exactly. It's great, but over in Flintbridge, I think there's a bit more foot traffic. There's some more people that could browse, come by, happen upon the shop, as well as just normal shopping. I was wondering if we can talk about this later if you want.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to move in and have that storefront, it would. I mean, I don't know what you're paying rent here, but it can't be any more expensive in Flintbridge.
It is reasonably,
especially if we're friends.
Yeah. Oh yes, it is reasonably cheap here. But I would always be willing to move somewhere with better foot traffic. I can't lie that we do miss out on quite a lot of customers because let's face it can be hard to find us.
Yeah, how do you... I guess through practice, but how did you find this place in the... originally?
Oh, there was a listing for it in a newspaper, I think.
Oh, wow.
It was years and years and years ago. But I mean, if I don't know, would I be renting off? Are you a landlord? Do you have lots of properties and?
I guess technically I don't have a lot of properties, but I do have this one place that belonged to my father and it passed down to me, and I'm not a dog groomer, so I thought, what better use for it than just sitting there, nothing going on, than to have people coming in looking for knowledge. That's kind of what I'm all about.
Okay.
Helping people out. So if that sounds good to you, then I can help you organize that.
Sure. Yeah. No. I mean, obviously, we'll have to talk about rent, like. But if it's,
I mean, let's just say it won't be any more expensive than what you're paying here.
Mr. Cassius, are you trying to patronize me?
Yes.
Oh.
No, seriously. No. It would be great to see more people in here, because you have such a wonderful collection.
Oh, thank you. It's
so
taken time to
kind
build
and
up.
helpful.
But,
So, no,
and of course, if we were renting for cheap, but in a better place, you'd have access to come in and browse any books you want. And
I hadn't even thought of that. I do love books, so I might see a lot more of you if you were over there. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it sounds wonderful. Yes. No, yes. It sounds. I'd love to take you up on your offer. I think we should set up a meeting and get it organized.
Yeah, right down and leave that all for lawyers and whatever.
Of course. Probably a wits insight.
Okay. Not great at these, but we'll see. One.
It's very appropriate. Because Cassius notices that she's kind of flustered and a bit, kind of, maybe woozy even, but has no idea why, which is very appropriate for Cassius.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Great. I've got a busy night, but I will make it to the book club, and yeah, I'm really excited about this. Been thinking about it a lot recently, so.
Oh, me too.
Thank you for your help.
Oh, and thank you for your patronization. Yeah.
No, it's helping each other out. That's what it's all about.
It's lovely to see someone still interested in books.
Well, I'm sure we can convince the new generation that there's as much value in books as whatever's going on YouTube or Twitch.
Wonderful. I don't really know what Twitch is.
I've just heard. I heard my friend talk about them. I don't know what they are. Right. Have a nice evening.
You too. Have a nice night.
You too.
I when you left, I was gonna ask how much Cassius realized the effect he has on her. I think we answered that with the wits insight. So.
I mean, he puts on the charm, but I don't know. I don't think he knows how effective it's being.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like a natural course for him to put on the charm on people to get them to do what he wants. And I think, he notices when it works, but he doesn't always understand the reason why. And I think this is a very solid doesn't understand the reason why.
Absolutely. This is a Tess situation and not a Cass situation.
Also, sidebar, Sheepy's very proud of his patronize joke. So, where to next?
Cass's next job is to wait at the lawyer's offices of P. Williker, because I think that's probably where he would have told Clay to meet him.
Oh, okay. I was under the impression we were going up to the hill.
Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes. No, he would have waited on the hill.
Okay. It's not too late in the night, or early in the morning, as it were. And you head on up there. Taking Conan with you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
So, head on up there, and just have a sit down and await.
Mm-hmm.
You have the stats for Conan, right?
I will in a second. Oh wait, no, did I put them in my details box?
I think you did, yeah.
No. I certain I put them there. I'll find it in the book right now.
Okay. Well, we can just go with like I think it's 5 or 6 dice for the kind of awareness.
Right. Yeah, well, it's still loading.
Pretty sure it's 6 dice.
Okay.
If not, we can just say at the moment, because of his master's kind of like, well, where's his crit? So, you know. After maybe about 20 minutes waiting, there's, you know, Conan's ears prick up, and there's like, it's not a threatening growl, it's more of like a, you know, you're on your first warning, kind of like, you know, I'm watching you, mate, kind of like, as you hear like someone approaching from behind. You also feel a very faint vibration in your teeth and on your skin, like very, very light and very, very, it's almost like a hum, like all over your skin. It's not distracting or anything, but you realize someone's using time powers, as in celerity. Whoa, Cass. I was wondering who to expect, but answered.
Yeah.
Mind if I have a seat?
Oh yeah, copper C.
Cheers. Your hound is gonna be cool with this. I don't want to have to.
Well, we both know you're very calm and collected, so.
Whenever I can be.
So will the dog. That's fine.
Wonderful. And he plonks himself down. He like takes his jacket off and like puts it, like lays it out, and then sits down on it. And he's like, he's kind of
that from him.
Yeah, he's kind of like just to your side, and he's like staring off over the hills into the horizon, which isn't really visible, but.
I imagine there's the kind of light pollution glow a little bit from Weirgate. But yeah. I called you here to ask about some work that my Winnie was doing. He spent a lot of time doing very dangerous things to protect the masquerade. And I have some new reasons to make sure that whatever he was doing stayed that way.
Interesting.
So I wanted to ask you if you knew of any Inquisition agents, Inquisition leads that I could follow to keep that work up.
I mean, it's been a while since I've been asked to look into any of that sort of thing. To my knowledge, there haven't been any in for years. Not since Winona took up the reins and saw that they were all disappeared, or all that type of thing.
Right, but he's not around anymore. And with everyone fractured like this, self-interest can distract from the things that will end up keeping us safe long term.
There have been some disruptions and some fairly tumultuous times that could have come to the eyes of anyone looking. So, my guess is there's probably a couple that have slipped in at least. Maybe a few units. I haven't heard any hide nor tail of them, but the possibility is there. One of the problems is, of course, is that everyone's trying to lay claim over the Kine officials, the mayor, the police chief, etc. So, being pulled in multiple directions, not as effective as just one guiding hand.
Yeah, that can be dangerous. What would you do about it?
You're not the only person to ask me that. What I would do is I'd make sure that the ties for everyone else were wiped. Especially from the police. That's the one that everyone's fighting over. And then make sure that I had a way solely to control the police. Which is actually something we should probably talk about. You know your mate Mac?
I know him.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I kind of set him up for murder.
Why?
Because I had no choice, unfortunately. And I wasn't going to pick the other three of you, so Mac was the choice.
So someone put you up to it?
Someone ordered me to do it.
The prince?
Prince doesn't have any say here anymore. Not at the moment, anyway.
That's interesting, especially coming from you. But yeah, I can think of a few people who might want that done.
I can tell you if you want.
Fine.
Lamia.
I knew she was fucking trouble.
I did say.
Why would anyone listen to you?
Because I always tell the fucking truth, mate.
Always. Mm-hmm. You're very selective about when you tell the truth.
And how I tell the truth, no doubt.
Yeah. So tell me, why are you telling me about Lamia now? Especially with your betrothal and all.
Well, I'm hoping to convince you that it's time to kill Lamia.
Huh. That's going to be tricky.
Most definitely. I've done a lot of things to put her in a very good position.
What's she got on you?
Absolutely nothing. But I have obligations.
You want us to kill Lamia?
I'm not going to be able to do it.
I like you and all.
I did not get that impression, mate, but thank you for saying so.
I do feel for you. It must have been difficult. Especially after your sire.
What do you know about my sire?
She was a fucking disgrace.
Agreed.
A dead disgrace, at the very least. But she put you in a tricky position, and she paid for it.
Thank fuck for that. Who are you getting
I know
this?
how that feels.
Who are you getting this from?
I didn't get this from anyone. Look. Whatever Lamia's going to end up doing to you, for you, at this happy joining of yours, I don't think it'll be good for Weirgate. So, you'll owe us, but I think it's a good idea. We can get rid of her.
He's been like, actually, while you're talking, he's like turned at you and he's just like squinting at you. How much did you get back?
I can't tell, can I?
Ballpark estimate. Do you remember the first 3 or 4 years of your Kindred life? Good times with old friends?
Yeah, I do.
Jesus.
It's an
You know
interesting
what?
way of putting it.
I was not expecting this. What's it been? 7 years?
It's been a lot more years than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Fuck. How you doing, mate?
Better than you.
Yeah, I'm right up Ship's Creek. No fucking paddle. Well, if you know about my sire and everything else that happened, then you know why being in a blood marriage to Lamia is a fucking problem for me.
Yeah, I do. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anyone.
You wanna know something else?
If it'll help you.
Oh. It'll make a lot of things maybe make sense. She, can't be affected by the blood of Kindred. Not in the way I am. So, this is a one-way marriage. And it's why I'm been trying to get out of it for quite a while.
Alright.
Not the best.
So she dies. Easy.
There is a problem.
The meeting?
Yeah. Who gives a shit about the meeting at the moment? The problem is that she knows about you. And she knows about Winona. And she knows about your friend Tess. How do you think she's managed to control me all this time?
She's promising to keep it a secret.
She won't go to the Bruja as long as I help her rise. Why do you think I fucked with Calig and Talia? It's not exactly that interesting, but they were both snipping after her.
I was considering telling them that you lied to them, but that would put you in a tricky position.
I can deal with that, Calig and Talia.
Always so overconfident. They're not exactly small fry.
True, but they don't know much. Whereas the only person who knows about my one fucking weakness is Lamia. Well, Sire knew. And then she found out from her sire. After she killed her.
Yeah. That tracks. She can't die before the meeting. That'd be too fucking suspicious.
Or during.
Shit. She's gonna end up as Keeper of Elysium or some shit.
She's gonna end up with a lot of power, but at that point, she'll be more at ease. First stage of the plan, you might say.
Right. It would be a lot easier if Calig and Talia were on side. I like them. As much as you can, Avantru.
Yeah, I mean, Calig's just interested in control. Talia, fuck knows. All I know is she's looking to earn money and gain influence.
That's nothing new.
True.
And they're not hard to get.
Oh, seeing as we're mates again, Banksy.
Fucker.
Well, you should know that I've been leading the investigation into Winono and his progeny as to whether he is really a Bruja, which, I mean, we both know he ain't and you ain't. Technicalities,
That's some
maybe,
real hot
but...
info.
Well, the problem is that there are still Bruja around, organised. I don't think you've really run into them yet. They live up in Sunnytown.
Mm-hmm.
The court.
Right.
So, you know, if things go sideways and shit gets out, you're gonna have a problem, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's not let things get out.
That is the desired result. I've laid as much groundwork as I can. I know the basics of Lamia's organisation. Who's she called? Who works for her, etc. I did have to put some feelers out for some bodyguards. So
Oh.
ostensibly it's for the meeting. But from what I know, they're going to be on retainer for a while.
You know, I don't think that will be as much of a problem as you think it will.
And why is that?
Well, if they're bodyguards, you got them from Vazia.
Yep.
Not that I know who that is. There might be a way around that. Leave it to me.
Fair enough.
Us. If I didn't know you'd always been like this, I would... Before I remembered everything, I probably would have killed you.
I think you had it in your mind a couple of times, mate. Not that I blame you. You know what I'm like.
Fortunately, your heart of gold shines through.
Fuck you. Okay. I mean, if you can't look out for someone you've been in the trenches with, who can you look out for?
London fucked with a lot of people. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again.
I've heard you got Celine and Caber on side.
Yeah, I remember them vaguely, but...
We never really ran with them, but we
No.
look after them though. If anyone deserves some peace, it's probably them.
They've got playground.
It's a start.
Yeah. Okay. Look, if you want this to go down properly, this is the last time we can talk about it. Unless there's something really, really pressing, you can't know it's coming. Because otherwise Lammy will know it's coming.
I mean, I'm not bonded yet, mate. I know how to keep my mouth shut, but you're right. If we meet again after everything that happened and someone sees it, we'll lose the edge.
Yeah. So, do your utmost to act as if, you know, we're a little bit antagonistic between each other. Is that going to be difficult for you?
I mean, I did fuck up one of your mates, and he is currently he's currently going to be the subject of a police-wide hunt. Basically, what's going to happen here is all of the influence that Calig, Talia, those fucking idiots at the old Elysium, like all that influence is going to go away. But Lamia has a little bit of sometimes I surprise myself at how genius I am. So, how I set up Mac was camera recording in a room, police chief's son tied to the chair. I told Mac that he needed to go in and interrogate him.
And he murdered him.
Oh, I murdered him. But, you know, when you're as fast as me, what's one frame between friends?
That is... Don't pat yourself on the back for that.
Well, that's not the genius part.
Oh, isn't it?
No. I skiddle-doodled, you know, ran off.
Uh-huh.
Very quickly after that, they ran off. Police chief's son, bleeding from the neck. Last ebbs of life going away. What better way to control a police chief than to turn his son, right?
Son's
So,
not dead.
well, what's dead, right?
Oh. How old is this kid?
Didn't really ask. Early 20s, maybe?
Better than nothing.
Well.
Good
Anyway.
thing about there not being a Camarilla is you don't have to ask permission for that shit.
But, as I said, that means that video is going to go out showing Mac killing this poor kid. Police chief's going to cut ties with all of these fuckers who's been influencing him and his staff and his everything. You know, a bit of a crackdown, manhunt for a while, keeps Mac out the way. Then, lo and behold, boom. Son's not dead. Shit. Fucking vampire. Do what we say. And then Lamia's got the entire police under her pocket.
Where's the kid?
She's got him. She turned him.
Oh, it wasn't you. Oh.
I'm not ready to be a
Great.
dad, mate.
Thank fuck for that. At least you know it. Oh, bollocks. Okay. No.
There was a reason I suggested it.
Yeah. Okay, no.
Kid turns
It's
up,
just-
Mac's clear, no harm, no foul. Well, you know. Less harm, less foul.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, you know, get your hands on the kid.
I'm doing security for Lamia at the meeting. Wonder how many backstage rooms she's got.
It's a good opportunity to have a little scout.
Oh, this meeting is getting worse.
Tell me about it, mate.
You're not going to be there, eh?
I am going to be there as a representative and muscle for the wonderful Lamia. Seeing as we are soon to be engaged. Well, soon to be married.
When you see an ocean of shit, do you dive in head first?
I could not risk it getting out about you and about Winona. And about Tess.
Right.
There's
Shit,
important and then there's fucking critical. I always try to make the worst best choice.
You're really good at that. Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know what to do with you. You're a mess.
I mean,
I will see you at the meeting.
fair enough. And he like stands up and starts to walk off. And then stops but like doesn't turn around. You know, I've been serving Winona since London, basically. Since he killed my sire.
Hmm.
I need a break, Banksy. We do this and I'm off.
You're leaving Weirgate.
If I can manage to keep you under wraps and save your ass, well, I don't consider us even, because I still owe you. I need to go on a fucking holiday.
Yeah, don't catch too much of a tan though.
Think in America.
Have a good night.
Laters, mate. And he starts walking off again. Conan kind of like has been sitting still and a bit tense the whole time, just vibing off your vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And then his ears go back a little bit and he whines just very lightly.
I scratch him just behind the, just to the top of the neck.
Head turns and neck goes straight.
We have a lot
Big
of work
tongue
to do.
like comes out, just slaps you in the face.
Oh, a lot of work to do. It's not just rabbits anymore.